Art, it's a lifestyle. I never call it work. I think the best is to compare it with love. If it doesn't exist, what would be the purpose on this planet? So for me, it brings me conflicts, it brings me euphoria, but also disappointment and pride. So it's my means to function autonomously in this society. Well, my name is Klaas Lageweg, and like I always say, I grew up in the north, small village, and well, my parents are really down to earth, and I'm really happy with that. My dad is really handy with his hands, but more in a traditional way. He can make everything out of wood, and my mother, she likes the philosophy of life. So they motivated me in a way, but also my dad, he was making jokes in my early days. Ah, man, don't spoil the ink, you know. So that was a bit disappointing, but well, I thought, no, man, fuck it. I will keep on going. And they were really giving me some trust at some points, like, okay, let's try this. And if you never try, you never know. So there was a point that I had to convince my mom, she was believing in it, my dad. My dad didn't know what to think about it, really. So I started to paint his hands while he was rolling a cigarette. That image I saw my whole life, and also the smell of it, so I thought, let's paint it. And those were my first realistic works, I think. So when I showed him, he was really like, whoa. He didn't speak it out, but after I heard, he was really, oh man, now I understand more. And nowadays they are really proud. The best thing they had given me is thinking, just be yourself and walk your own path. When I started doing graffiti and painting, and it felt like a lifestyle, you know, like the essence. Because you can't describe the essence, it's more like a feeling. For me, that was a really good feeling. So I want to have that in my whole life. Also with choices in the normal life or something. So not to call it work, but call it a lifestyle and to living the life of an artist. Not that crazy, but like, man, I want to express myself. So I started with tags and letters, but also cartoons, you know. I picked the name Clyde, and I projected like in 1,000 ways on paper and wall, you know, like just to motivate myself to develop your own style or something, yeah. Like a positive competition with the other guys, you know. Because then there was no internet or something. It was more, we had black books. I still have them. They're really old school, you know. We take pictures and then we put it in, and we draw it in each other's black books. So yeah, maybe it's the Instagram, but then back in the days. So you could put comments under. I don't know. It's a way to express yourself, of course, and yeah, you get some real positive energy out of it, and you don't have to worry about the real life, because the real life is a bit boring. You need to find your own way, of course, and that took me some time. I think 30 years. But that's okay, you know. It's developing your own inner self or something. I had questions, for my feeling, more than other people had. I don't know, you can not be sure, but questions like, who am I? The most important question of all, I think. Am I my thoughts, or am I an artist? Is that true? It's more about believing your own act, like playing the role. And you have to believe it, because otherwise you can't put enough effort in it. So choosing an identity what really fits to you. You could be a farmer, you could be an artist, you could be a builder, whatever, man. But it doesn't mean that it is you, you know? In the early days, I couldn't fulfill to the expectations of society. For my feeling, I thought maybe I am crazy. But later on, I was like, man, no, you're crazy, man. So choosing to be an artist, it was really like a good choice for me to play that role. Not get stuck in the expectations of society, like their way, but more like my own way. Because everybody has his struggles, and just be open about it. And that's a real key. The question, who am I made a series out of it, and I used some really old souls in it, like souls of Rembrandt or Vermeer, or I think really fits the image also to combine it with those modern pixels, you know, and abstract parts. Like choosing your identity, it's in the portrait, but it's there in realism, it's there in pixel or abstractions or parts of graffiti. Because I like the excitements of sharp, but also raw or high realism. Like, whoa, did I make that? So I will put them in the triangle. On the left you have the square, the circle and the triangle. And on the other side you get the hyper photorealistic part. In between there is maybe a smile or a Che Guevara image, you know, or a Spider-Man. Everything between. And upper you could put the abstractions. So when you go up you have more Picasso or, well, it shapes in a way too, abstractions. So I thought, man, wow, I'm pushing the boundaries with these in my work to get that feeling of satisfying and using those elements. So it's the borders of shape in a way. So it gives me a kind of rest. But for me, it's just, I put myself on #1 in creating, because I want to make myself happy, and if someone else is going to be happy too, okay, but me first. Art is really my lifestyle. It became the red line in my life, you know. I had some private shit going on, relationship that collapsed, and I lived out of a bag for a while, sleeping at friends' house, start all over again, you know. But there was always one thing what stays, you know, and that was art. It was really my red line. I can always come back to that, and it's my friend in a way. So, and it's like a dog, you know, it never leaves you alone. It's always there. It's the best life you can have. The life of an artist is really great, but it's not an easy road, you know. You have to put some effort in it, and so I'm really grateful with that. And also it's a struggle, of course, because you're eager to develop, but it brings also conflicts, you know. Like you're stuck in your head, or it doesn't come out like you thought of. So really like life, it goes with disappointments as well. You have to accept you have an ego, you have to accept that you're going to die. There exists some beautiful things out of that, you know. And so be aware of your own thoughts and don't take them so serious. That is something I learned, and I'm really happy that I learned that. You're selling your soul to the devil.